touched it like that.
Can I have a Sprite?
Yes.
Thank you.
Toby, can I have $1 million?
Ankles are still warm.
Okay.
Go all the way in the back.
I was gonna say, I don't want a warm one.
I'm
All
telling
right.
you, I think I'm the funniest person I know.
So,
Yeah,
so
I'm an artist.
what was the purpose of the
Cute.
pressure of this pressure exercise? That's pretty much what it is, right? So, so on the left side, if you wanted to, pretty much I like to number it from start from the top one, each block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? And just so you could, how you would use this or how you would think about it, 1 to 2, obviously you remember your pressure was very light. So what techniques that go along with that would be like what we call freehanding. That means when you're just cutting off the split ends, right? That's when you're doing light pressure. Same thing like doing natural edge ups where someone may not even want to line or want to edge up, right? That's gonna be for that guy. Then we have then for 3 and 4 is gonna be typically the pressure you're gonna use for blending, right? You're gonna find yourself blending in there. The 2 block, going back to 2 would be an idea for like kids edge ups, soft edge up lines. Somebody that's heavy-handed like myself, that I'm heavy-handed, so I have to be very light with my pressure, especially if I have trimmers that are zero gap. Are y'all familiar with zero gap?
Yes.
Zero gapping, right? So that's very important if you're heavy-handed, you wanna light your pressure, right? Because now a lot of clippers are coming out they come out the box super, super sharp, right? Because now you have the micro zero gapping they doing now, or digital gapping they call it, but it's really basically on the microscope. You just get really, really sharp.
What is the zero gap on the trimmer?
So the zero gap is,
just
and one reason why you zero gap your trimmers and your clippers is all of it is the purpose of trying to have that seamless blend in between, right? So what you're doing is basically you're taking your steel blade and your cutting blade and you're reducing the gap between the two blades.
But like, I have these ones too,
Mhm.
but like, since it's screwed in and it's like just like a head that pops on and off, like how would you do that on
I would
this?
have to show you another, but you would just take it apart.
I was about to say,
You
you
would-
can
just
zero
you
it
have
out.
to take, you had to take these apart. And matter of fact, they should have came with a zero gapping too
I was about to say,
before.
if you have,
Yeah, they
if
should
you
have
have the
came.
Babyliss trimmers, they
I
come
don't
with.
even know where the box
She's
is.
like, "There's
Yeah, that's gone.
The black and gold ones, I know for sure.
Yeah, they should have a little tool for it, but you can eyeball it, but it's pretty much what you're doing is loosening up this cutting blade to allow you to move it. So you'll just have to pop it. I
Okay.
can show it to you, yeah. But that's what you're doing, reducing the gap. And the purpose of zero gapping your clippers, this guy, is so they could blend into your trimmer, right?
Oh, okay.
That's why you zero gap it so it can go seamless too. All right, so then wrapping up 3 and 4 will be good for for soft edges, heavy-handed, zero gapping, blending, and detailing, which I'll talk about here in a second. And then finally, your 4 and 5 is gonna be for your framing, meaning when you're making your zone lines or you're edging up, stuff like that, right? So that's this guy. So that's why y'all felt the pressure. That's the main thing. Y'all feel y'all pressure differences. So when I say this is a 3 or 4 or 5, we can all be on the same page. Sound good?
Yup.
That wasn't that bad, right? All right. Well, then on that note, got some more work for you. Nah, this is a head sheet if you want to follow along, take notes. That's all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Just in case y'all want to write anything down, I don't know. All right. There you go. All right. All right, we're gonna get busy. So let me make sure I'm following along with everything.
I guess so.
Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, everybody's good. All right.
Or these are me.
They're all the same.
I'm losing my head, it's
It
fine.
got cold.
He's just giving you extra sheets to like write notes,
I did
you know what
drop
I'm
the
saying?
AC a little bit. Just
Yeah, it's chilling.
You turn the AC on?
Yeah.
You
I
know,
dropped it a little bit. You want me to turn it back up?
Please.
I thought that it was getting a little warm in here.
The
That's why I
only
didn't get
two
uncomfortable.
people
Anybody
that get
else?
like that are Mike and Adrian.
I know I gave you a stack.
I will turn it back up.
You didn't hear from me.
Wait a minute, are you-
They're the only two people that ever touch the thermostat, just so you know. We didn't do it.
They telling on themselves, Ryan, huh?
No, we're survival of the fittest. That's Toby's rule,
All
don't
right.
touch the thermostat.
No, I don't care if you guys touch it a little bit, just don't go crazy.
The handbook says don't touch the thermostat.
It does.
You read the
That
handbook?
is the lowest common denominator rule.
But he made us review
One
the
down, one
thing.
up, but don't go like 65. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Y'all not paying that bill.
No, no, they are not. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
so,
we do. We definitely pay the bill.
he already told me, but, Amanda, right? Amanda, is it Amanda?
Me?
No.
No, she.
Oh, that's
Abby.
Lila.
Lila.
Oh, Lila. Yeah,
That's
sorry,
Lila,
I was
I'm
looking-
Abby.
I was
Yeah.
looking over there. Yes,
Amanda, right?
Lila.
Lila.
Yes.
So I meet
We all looking for Amanda like, where?
Yeah, everybody looking around the building.
supposed to be here.
I'm still making Amanda, right? Lila, so he already told me his haircut, but did you want to tell me how you normally cut his hair?
Yeah, so I mean, I always build my line first. I blend backwards, so, or, down,
Down.
so to speak. I do a little bit of both, but I start off with my trimmer, I build his line. I do everything that I'm gonna do for the bald fade under that, so I'm not tempted to bring the line up.
Okay, so to kind of for control purposes.
Yep, so I'll take my trimmer, build his bottom line that I bald down. Or I blend down in the bald, and then, I build my line, I'll take his weight off, so I'll take the top guard, take the weight off, and then that's how I build my foundational lines there.
Okay.
His takes a lot of cornering for me. I'm sure you're gonna go over that.
A lot of cornering.
Yeah.
And for cornering,
Yeah, his
I call
hair
it
around his
point
bridle
tail.
acts very differently from the side of his head.
Changes directions on you.
And then, what did we do? I think we did a 2 with the grain
Two with
on the
the
top.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm almost positive, yeah.
Like a two
We
with
went a
the-
little short, yeah, two with the grain. Yeah.
Remember, Lord, that's good too.
You went a little-
I would do a 3 just in case.
Do a 3 with the grain?
Yes.
Okay.
She's like, yeah, that sounds
I'm almost positive we did a 2, but he changes his mind. so-
I did.
He switches up. When I like
Yeah.
it. Ain't
Oh,
that
when he came in here, we gave him a fro.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. And he came in next time, he's like, skin fade. I'm like, God, I've done that fro so much.
I didn't bring a jacket today.
Like, what happened?
Yeah.
All right, so if y'all want to follow along, y'all can. I mean, I know it's very general. I kind of gave y'all a little overview of what I'll be doing, but because it's one of those things where it's better versus theory, it's better actually practically doing it, right?
Oh, and he does a hard lineup.
You gonna do a hard lineup? Okay. So you said a 3 on top, and then ball fade on the side.
Yes. About
Midway,
Mid.
bottom of the box.
Yep.
Remember the term box? So the bottom of the box here, right? The little box here. Okay. That's where you start your first guideline.
Yeah, so I actually, do you know Rodney Bullock?
Yeah.
Okay, Rodney taught
Yeah.
me
Okay.
that,
Altitude.
that, yeah, so he taught me to blend directly under the line. If that makes sense. So like where I wanna set my line, I go just below that to have that space to.
Yeah, give you some room
Yeah.
for the, when you got really tight,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Something else I didn't say earlier is that, there's more than one way around Holly Springs.
Yes.
There's more than one way around, so I don't make my way the only way, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's just more or less an opportunity, hopefully you can pick some stuff up and take it, run with it, but I don't wanna feel like I'm stepping on anybody's toes, anything like that, so. But yeah, that's a good.
I won't be offended, I'm here to learn.
Yeah.
I've been doing it the same way for 6 years now, so.
No, but that's perfect, that's what you're supposed to do.
I feel great. I have nothing going into this, so
Right.
at least I learned something.
Alright, so the first thing we're gonna do, and I'm gonna try to follow along these steps here, but I'm gonna go and start cutting, for the most part, and answer any questions you may have. So I'm starting on, under the agenda, I already did the introduction, we already understand the curly texture here, we kinda talked about that. Y'all already familiar with y'all tools and implements, y'all pretty confident on, we already, I guess we'll come back another time about the zero gap and on that. And then, and so then shears, I do actually include shears, but a lot of times I do that to, cut any kind of hair that's hanging over, right? Just to be able to help, again, kind of open it up, but not, pushing the line back, but just kind of get some of that hair to hang over so you could really help see that line really tight and crisp, right?
What shears do you use?
These particular ones are these are kind of really inexpensive ones here. They're not no fancy shears now, but they do okay. They got a little swivel on there. This brand here is off of Amazon.
Oh, okay.
I ain't gonna sit here and try to like, oh, no, it served the purpose, so.
So do I.
It's subtle. And I do have a couple of little more expensive ones. I don't travel with those, but I keep those.
Don't blame you.
Yeah, so. But, all right, so then we got our shears, and then that helps with edging up. I just wanted to talk about that. And then now execute the fade, go time. All right, so a couple ways you can do, like you mentioned, I heard you mention that you like to start from the top and debulking the hair, right?
Yes.
So the benefit to doing that, and that's a really great idea, that's exactly what I do at times as well, is I'll just debulk everything on top, because the benefit of that is now you know your highest guard you're gonna use. So then now all it is just blending up to where you stop, where you stopped at. So we know this is a 3, so that means anything on the sides, on the exterior, is gonna have to be below 3 to blend to the 3, right? Right? So one thing I like to do is make sure I'm combing the hair, really detangle the hair into its natural growth pattern. Of course, you know, you all got that famous cowlicks in the back. And sometimes I used to be hard-headed, and I know some cowlick there, but I just want to cut it my way. And I don't expose the sunroof plenty of times in the past, trying to do it my way. When I know that when it comes to a cowlick, for any texture of hair, you know the best way to cut it is cut it the way it wants to go.
Thank you, Jesus.
The problem you have when you try to go against it and fight against it, it's gonna fight back, and we're gonna lose every time. We're gonna lose every
You just
time.
made me so happy. Don't even understand.
We lose every time, I'm telling you. I done lost that fight plenty of times. All right, so I'm just kind of checking out how his hair is growing. All right,
It does its own thing.
does his own thing.
Oh,
So now
the
one thing
color's
about,
pretty nice.
you said I got it on there, catching with curly hair, is that it does shrink. It does have a tendency to move. That's why you want to comb a lot, brush it a lot as well to help lay it down and kind of control it. So that's why I kind of just more informal, not too formal. It's kind of like watching where the hair is going, what they want to do. And sometimes I may comb it this way, and I come back, it may decide to move on me, and just gotta comb it back out again, right? So just like when hair gets wet and dry, right, it reverts back to its original shape. So same thing with curly hair. It's curled, you can pull it, but it may still come back, right? Some tricks you can do, but now we get to talk about which clippers you use, because you have 4 type of motors for your clippers. So you have what they consider a magnetic, rotary, and pivot motor. Your pivot motor is gonna be the one which actually, this guy right here, the Ostra Fast Speed Cordless, that pivot motor, the benefit to pivot versus a rotary are in a lot of cordless, but they're really known from the detachable blades. But the benefit to a pivot is good for wet and dry hair. So if somebody's hair is giving you a fit, and his hair is not nearly, I've seen it tighter than this. So there may be sometimes you may want to put some mousse or something on it, just kind of lay it down. Sometimes that works. Of course, the closer you get, it don't matter. It's only a lot of times when you start getting higher up into those higher lengths that you start seeing some of that.
And when you do that to make the cut look good in the shop, and then they go home and they're not doing the same product or anything, are they gonna see a difference in that look?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So a lot of times I try to cut to their lifestyle, right? You'll know how often they name and say what they look for. I kind of cut to, me personally, I like my haircuts a day or two later. That's kind of why I like to cut to. I like the way it looks, because it's like you're saying, the thing is, I have not found the perfect blade yet, but it's like the perfect length is always that day or two growth, and I've not found a way to get to that one little spot, right? It's just that new growth that makes it make magic. But to answer your question, depending on, you want to educate them as well, let them know what products you use, so they could know how to do it themselves, and they'll let you know too, like, man, I can't get this hair like the way you did it last time, right? And you just want to educate them on what you use, right? So, all right, so now I don't, and I probably stopped doing this for quite a few years now. I am knocking on 30 years, man.
Yeehaw.
I did it right out of high school, so I don't let the grapefruit. But anyway, so I don't do the hard line with trimmers anymore. Like I stopped doing that. I usually do it. I do it at the end. I come at the end with the trim. If somebody wanted really skint, really bald, I do the trim at the end, because way I came up and the way it was taught me, when you put a hard line in,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be a hard line to get out, right?
Are you doing a skin fade or a bald fade for him? Like, are
Either
you
one,
shaving it?
bald or skin. I think you just do skin, right? He doesn't do.
No, I do balding.
You do trimmer or
Yeah,
shaver?
I'll do trimmer, and then I'll
Come with the shaver.
I'll go against the grain with the bald, and then
You use the
blend
shaver.
You
blend
down
the
with the
shaver or
shaver,
just
yeah.
the trimmer? Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, he'll be a bald fade.
Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say something, but I usually do the hard line at the end. I usually do the shaver at the end as well, so be able to reduce any type of hard lines, right? That's just my preference. It's not right or wrong, right? Just makes it a little easier for me. So something else I like to point out that I approach a haircut in 3 different ways. First part is I call framing. That's creating the zones. Then I actually blend, and then I detail. I don't get caught a lot of times. I notice with barbers and even students that sometimes we get, and I did early on, we got caught up in the blending part, where I like to save a lot of stuff with detail,
Mhm.
right? And that's once you got your system, and once you continue mastering your system, I save the detail for any kind of extra stuff, right? I don't want to slow down. If that
Mhm.
makes sense. All right, so I'm starting off with the clippers closed, right? They already been disinfected, but I'll spray again. All right, so I'm already detangled it. I know that we're gonna keep it below the box, create the first line. Spin around here. And make sure you ask any questions you have, and we're gonna drop it, right? So that's another thing I didn't mention. There's 3 different types of fade classification. You have what they call drop, where drop is more like you actually arching around, boom. Might have been no mohawks. That falls in the drop fade family. When you're taking a fade, you're taking a blend, and you just literally like a letter J, you're just dropping it down behind the ear, right? Then you have what they call diagonal, which we're gonna do today, which is diagonal, meaning you're starting usually at the bottom of the box, somewhere in the box, and you bring it down underneath the occipital bone area, typically, right? And then you have what they call horizontal. Horizontal is old school. That's the classic, come all the way around. Man, the most popular ones today are going to be drop or either diagonal. Right, those are your 2 primary ones.
You
And
wanna drop this down?
I like them old schools.
I was about to say, yeah, no, he's gonna want the,
like horizontal.
he's gonna want the OG.
The OG on the horizontal. Okay.
Was that the one right here, right?
Well, the horizontal is still.
Yeah,
we don't
it's
do the true horizontal. Like the true horizontal would be kind of like military cut, like up here, really high.
That's how we've been doing it.
Yeah, let's
You
rock
do it up here?
let's rock with it.
Yeah,
You
he's
don't
old
want to
school.
drop it down, so
Let's rock with it today.
you want to
Yeah.
drop what, the diagonal?
Which one would be better for your class?
It's whatever they want.
What do y'all want? Let's
Well,
take a vote. Let's take a vote.
I think.
Bald head, let's go.
I'm not letting you do that.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, I love it. I
Yeah,
love
you
it.
got
I love it.
Okay.
Diagonal or drop? Because
So the one that everyone
The
struggles with, I feel, is when they get around the occipital. I was
Okay,
just
so we
showing
do
her that
diagonal.
yesterday.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, I
So
was
it's
just
better
showing
for
her.
everybody.
We do diagonal because the steps still, and I actually did an illustration of diagonal, but the cool thing is, when you do your zones, just like anything, electrical shears, just like your shears, whenever you create your guideline, whatever guidelines you create, the steps may stay the same, but it's all depending on what kind of guidelines you create. I can come up here and follow the same process here, and I can literally arch it, and it will still be the same process. Or I can keep it up higher, keep it horizontal, and still be the same process, right? Because we create our guide and traveling guidelines as well. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do the diagonal. I go up a little. I keep it in between diagonal and horizontal for you. How about that? Give you a happy medium.
Yeah.
All right, so now, so remember this is our box. This is what they call the C cup. I call it the sideburn area, but a lot of the young folks call it the C cup. Give me that C cup. Not everybody wears C cup. Sometimes it's squared in there, but okay. I didn't know, so I just wanted to make sure I sound today. You know what I'm saying?
You're very relevant.
Yeah, it won't be relevant, but it's really just the bottom of this box here going into the sideburn area. So we're gonna start off. And now, one thing I'm doing, I'm making sure that I'm doing what we call the C stroke. I'm gonna exaggerate a little bit more so you can really see me rocking it, but I'm rocking from basically up to the back onto the heel, just like that. All right, you just take this all the way around. I'm gonna get behind the ear. When I get behind the ear, I'm gonna drop it down some, right? Now, with that being said, I already know, based on the illustration, I'm gonna kind of follow those steps here. I want to make 3 zones, so I gotta keep that in mind. So now I got it closed right now, so I'm gonna make my three zones, my transition zones. So I'm gonna come down here and clean all this up. Now you might see some barbers, and again, it's all preference. Sometimes they'll leave the hair at the bottom and just do all the blending up, and then they come at the end and clean up the bottom. That works. I'm kind of a little OCD a little bit, so I gotta take everything off. I just can't. If I leave hair there, I feel like something's wrong, you know.
Yep.
So
I can't see what I'm doing if I don't take the.
you said what?
I can't see what I'm doing if I don't take that hair off.
Yeah, because it's like it's taken away from, you know, the whole visual of what you're trying to do, right? Your image you're trying to create, or your art you're trying to create. So now I can already tell by his head shape and probably what you're talking about, some of the challenges that we face when we talk about Super the Bone is what happens is due to a head shape, it creates a lot of shadows, right? Best thing to how to handle shadows is just like a cowlick, leave them alone. The biggest problem we have as hair professionals that we want to solve the problem, and then we wind up getting into a problem. So it's always better to know. I tell my students, it's the art of knowing when to say it's done, right? Because sometimes you can mess around and overcut, and then you start getting to what we call chasing the line, and then it just goes to the left, right? So you want to be able to know you got to just know how to tap out sometimes. Just say until I see them again.
That was
Right.
the biggest issue.
That is a big one.
If you ever run into the spot right where you're at right now, and say for example the guy's a little bit on the heavier side, and they have what I like to
The
call
line.
You gonna roll back there?
Yeah,
You
but-
ain't gotta flip me. I got that meat back there.
You got
I already know what it is. I already know. You gotta say. We ain't talking about you. We talking about me right now. I know you got that meat back there. That's one of my instructors say. You know, Mr. Graham got that fatty meat back there. What you gotta do?
Just a hot dog.
The hot dog, the hot dog. You know, you ain't. No, yours ain't as bad as mine. But what you simply do is that you.
No. Like
so-
if it's like really
Right,
fit, like if
that's a
it's
great
a
question.
very heavy
Yeah.
guy, like
So
I mean,
you only have, just like a cowlick, you only have 2 options. And I don't want to make it simple. I'm not trying to downplay it or simplify it, but really it's either you go below it or above it.
okay.
But the problem about going above it, depending on if it's too meaty like mine, it's gonna look like they're wearing a little cap on their head. So that's on the catch. So typically you want to lean towards dropping it down below it if you can. But what's gonna happen when you drop it down lower, it's gonna give you an impression that it's a line there.
Yeah.
You just gotta leave it alone.
Okay. Because
Leave
like,
alone.
so there's nothing you
Because
can do.
guess what? We know we got that roll back there.
That's what I was gonna say. They know.
We know it's there.
Yeah.
Now,
There's
you
no
know,
magic.
That's like
if you want,
ant.
now when
I
you,
was
the
like,
only I would
what do
say
I
if
do
you're
with
going
that?
if you're going above it, then yes, you do need to lift it up and clean it out. You know,
Yeah.
make it look like it's big.
Like pull
How
it
do you
across.
do that? You
Yeah.
just like spread the fold?
Yeah.
You pull
No,
it.
it's
Yeah,
so
or
if-
yeah, spread it, or have them lean forward, or you can take your comb and just literally just like
Pull it
push
down.
it up like
No,
that.
like legit, some
Yeah.
people
And then
you
watch it
can't
fall.
get into.
I
it.
know.
It's
Yeah,
impossible.
Some you just gotta leave alone
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just
Okay.
kind of go under it. Yeah.
Leave it alone.
Easy.
All right. Now,
I don't even know.
Now I'm not the type that some cutters like to do one side at a time. Me personally, I like to work my way around opposite side, then I like to come back where I started. So I kind of make my 2 passes. I like to make a 2 pass at least in each zone, so that I know I'm kind of cleaning it up really well. So since we're gonna go ahead and go above this crease here. We're gonna go above it. I chose to go above it because if you look at it, if I left it there, it would be a hard line in there.
This isn't even
And
bad.
that would give you a fit. If you try to blend right into that, you will never get it out. You know why? Because it's a crease. You know, right? So this is fun. Great question. I'm glad you asked that. So you must have been trying to tell them they didn't want to listen to you.
No, actually, believe it, like a lot of people have been really coming up to me and
It's
asking,
me.
which is great.
It says me.
No,
It
well, she stresses about the taper fade, and I tell her, I'm like, it's all there. Like the body gives us its own angles to work with.
Mm-hmm.
There's, key points of like angles we work inside of.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get her not to be afraid of it.
Well,
because-
just in reality, like I've been in the salon for
Yeah.
I've been in the same salon for 5 years.
Yeah, you just gotta make that
And
adjustment.
In school, I was in school for 2 years, and I tricked my instructor every time I got a men's cut into doing it for me. I'd be like,
Gotcha.
"Hey Corey,
Yeah, you
I
sound-
just
you know
don't
what?
know how
Yeah,
to
you,
do that."
you sound familiar
I
That
make
was
in
me.
my class.
That was me, and I was terrified of doing men's cuts, and I finally got to a point where I could do clipper cuts. And
Well, I have to be honest with you. I ran from haircuts too.
I
We
hate
all
When I started
I
school,
hated
I was totally green when I started school,
Mm-hmm.
and I dodged and ran from hair because I could shave, but I was like not trying to cut
hate
no
it.
hair. But then eventually, when I got out, I ran right into a haircut. When I
Yeah.
got to the shop, I couldn't
Yeah.
run no more. It was
Yeah.
over. But I tried. I was dodging. You want to cut? Or I started. Give it to a classmate. 'Cause, they'll love to come.
I think the issue that I have is that like there are a lot, like I watch a lot of videos, and like Abby really helped me in the beginning with my skin fades, so I feel like a lot better about that. But like you
So it's
can't
good-
practice on a mannequin, and you have
Yeah.
to have someone who's willing to like, if you really mess up big time, like let you completely change the haircut, like
Yeah.
to fix the problem, and that is
It's hard.
hard to come by.
Right.
Rodney has his, I don't know if he's still doing it, but he'll have his students go to the homeless shelter.
Yeah, we still do those.
Yeah.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they coordinate with the homeless shelter. And they're just grateful to have a haircut.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
they'll do like a full day,
Mhm.
and that's a phenomenal way to practice.
But I
Another
went
way
to,
to,
I would
another
go
way
to
to
the
practice
nursing
is
home.
kids.
Yeah.
I used to get a lot of practice with kids, especially kids that wore like even all overs,
Mm-hmm.
because then that would give me a chance to practice blending. Because to me, I was thinking about that. It's just I'm going to erase it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to wind up taking it down.
Yeah.
So I
The
would
parents,
use-
the parents have already seen multiple bad haircuts from other barbers.
and-
Yeah.
right.
Most
That's
So
of
they
it.
them-
don't really sweat it too bad. Some are particular, but like a lot of them won't sweat it.
A lot of them are like, hey, we had a bad haircut at Great Clips, we're here.
Hey, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, that's also why, like, from like most of the skin fades or taper fades, take it down, taper it in the back. One, they don't see it.
Yeah.
Two, it's free practice. And three, if you don't like it, you can take the neckline up just a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah,
Toby?
that's a good idea too. Tap your.
What?
Yeah.
I've been auto clocked out again.
Oh,
That is another one too as well. Practicing on neck tapers is a good way to
Yeah,
practice, too.
I've been trying to do that more just because they don't really notice.
Yeah, but
They, like if
please
you,
ask. Please.
no, I mean not
Some of them
like
are
down to
visible.
0, but like,
Yeah.
my regular people. Like,
usually if the guys say, like, if you're like, oh, round it off or square it off, and they're like, yeah, whatever, then
Yeah.
usually
Yeah,
you
those
can
are
get
good.
away with doing a taper
Yeah, yeah.
and be like, hey,
Yeah.
so I did this, you
Yeah.
know.
I don't like
That's
do it super dramatic. I
Yeah.
just like give that my opportunity to like
Yeah.
just blend a little.
Yeah, just practice.
All right. So another thing I like to do is we already know you say you're gonna do a 3. You said 3 with it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He'll probably want to go to a 2 knowing him, but just forewarning him.
And so something else I like to do before, I can either do it before or after I debulk some of the weight off the top. I like to go ahead and put a little soft line, not the permanent line, not the hard line, but just a nice little soft guide so I can kind of see where help me start framing as I'm blending, right? So I'm gonna go and put a little soft little line across the side here on the box. All right, so but not a hard line yet, just enough, just so I give myself, I can have some type of framing that will happen as I'm blending. And then depending on your client, sometimes, and this is on any client, any texture of hair, if they're thinning on the sides, when you go closer, it's gonna be hard to find that line. So then now you gotta try to dig in there, try to find a line, and you're gonna create a line, then you're gonna push a line back. So it's always better to go ahead and edge up while the hair is long, then when you can at least give a soft line so you won't have to be searching for it later, right? Especially for like close haircuts. So here I'm just putting a nice soft line on here. I'm not worried about across the front yet. Just enough just so as I'm blending, I have some type of box there as I go lower. Alright,
That grew out good.
so
That grew out good.
it
I was
did.
just looking at it.
You did a great job. I can
And,
tell
I
by
was
the,
so happy.
I can
was-
tell by the haircut that you had a good
Thank you,
haircut.
man.
Good haircut. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go and set my second zone. I'm doing the 3 fingers. Right? So I come on this side. On this side.
So where are you going in with now?
This is just.
I'm
the
going
open.
now. I'm going with clipper all the way open.
Oh, okay.
No guard. So I just did the clipper close. Great question. Close, no guard. That's a 000, 40. If y'all familiar with the numbers of the blades below the guards, right? So then 000. Now I'm doing it all the way open with no guard. All the way open is for those that are familiar with your different guard settings. All the way open is actually similar to a half guard. You ever seen those little tiny little half guards? All right, back in the day, they didn't make no half guards, so they finally listened to us and made half guards. So that's good to know because the half guard obviously leaves a little bit longer. But again, if you're trying to make that perfect blend, just remember that all the way open is similar to a half guard, but a little closer. So that sometimes if you find that a half guard leave a little line in there, you can't get out with the half guard, you may want to try using a clipper all the way open and point cut in there to knock it out, right? Because they're kind of similar to each other. Same thing with a 1.5. You know, a 1 guard all the way open is the same thing as a 1.5 guard closed. And you want to know that because again, you're trying to create that blend and you're trying to bring it into that 1.5. You know, you can use a 1 open to help you with your transition. All right, so now I'm going to come all the way open, scooping out. Comes all the way down. Create my second zone here. I'm still in my framing. I'm not blending yet.
So what's the benefits of creating the zones first?
For me, for control, like you do, for control purposes. So I go ahead and frame out so I don't have to worry about chasing my line up. So you can do it, and I'm actually doing what you consider like skip gardening right now. I'm skipping limbs. I could do it step by step, but when you're doing step by step, you want to make sure you're really controlling your blend.
Does that help like debulk the area that you're gonna be working through?
Right. And I just remember I said I was gonna take some off the top here. Let me do that. So I done went on. I said I go multiple ways.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, so I'm let me just go back to where I started. Do my 2 passes. And scooping out. And that. Then I'm gonna brush it. Because you know with curly hair you gotta make sure you comb and brush it.
I have a brush, okay?
You gotta comb and brush, that'll help, again, detangling it. And then when you see these little dark spots like that, that is just head shape. Again, there's rolls, wrinkles. Sorry, my man. You know, I got them too. But that's what you're seeing, lighting that creates shadows. So that's when you gotta have, just like in your shears, just like your electrical shears, you gotta have confidence in your clippers or your shears that you have cut it, right? It may look dark, but it could be from lighting and things of that nature. I don't know if y'all have experienced somebody walk out, you be like, whoo. You get out in that sunlight, it's a whole different haircut.
Yes.
It's just like, hold on, I thought it looked good. What happened? All right. So again, something that you can do when you're dealing with curly hair is going right to left, kind of boom, 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 because the hair could move on you. So that's another reason why I like to make sure I do 2 passes. And then as I go back, if an area still looks kind of dark, let's see if there's a spot right here. See if it didn't go off, it didn't go away. Then I may try to go to the right, to the left, just changing directions, right? Because the hair will move on you, right? Just like that. And I don't know about y'all, just like with any cutting, you know, you get a rhythm. That's why I love when the chair moves. So when I got a good rhythm. Because a lot of times whenever we have any kind of weight line, it's usually because we didn't scoop out well. That's usually most time we didn't scoop out well, or I was a little too heavy. That's why you see some lines a little darker than others. That means the zone below it, I didn't really scoop out at the top of that cut like I should have, or that pass. Making sense? A little bit?
Yeah.
You sure? You're like, I just work all day to cut it. Keep it moving. I feel you. I feel you.
So
All right.
This gentleman doesn't have what I'm I don't want to say used to, I'm really not used to doing it, but there are some gentlemen that just have like really, really tight curls, but when you cut it, it almost looks like they're bald. Like, and then when you like comb it out and then it still looks
Still
patchy,
yeah.
like, how do you handle
So
that?
whenever somebody, that's a great question. So somebody that has a really, really tight curly hair, like Africans, for example, their hair gets really, really tight.
Because he doesn't have that. Like, he's
Right.
got thick, beautiful, like, I
Curly.
mean, they're
Yeah,
little
good
girls,
hair.
but they,
It's tight, it's tight,
Yeah,
it's
don't
tight.
feel
they're
his
tight,
hair,
but
bro.
they're
Yeah.
not like,
He's a good
No,
model.
it's still
good
curly.
model.
It's
He's
still
just
tight.
making
Curly.
Thank you for calling me, gentlemen.
Y'all don't understand what y'all are doing.
Thank you, America.
So to answer your question, it's so funny because I just recently just shared this with my class is that for those that are really tightly curled like that, one, you want to go step. You don't want to do skip guard on them. You actually want to go step by step on them,
okay.
a little bit by little bit with them, because their hair is again is curling up. So you gotta go gradually with that texture of hair. You gotta do a lot of combing, a lot of brushing it down, and then just taking your time with each step.
Because I don't have a lot of experience, but all of the
Yeah.
African American people that I've cut
Yeah.
their hair for, they have had that curl pattern, and it just freaks me out.
And then really take your time, really, and it's gonna sound funny, but really take your time on really combing the hair out before you get started.
Yeah.
Really detangling that hair out, really brushing it out, really getting, instead of just going right on in, really take your time like I did. You may have noticed I'll spend a few minutes just really
Yep.
combing the hair. The tighter it is, that's why you got your wide tooth, fine tooth side. When you start getting closer, you want to use the fine tooth. You may find that this may actually help you with detangling it better as well.
Sorry.
Yeah. Get up and walk. Yeah, please.
So his hair doesn't do this, but you, like with Ant, his hair goes like, it grows this way.
Diagonal.
And yes,
Yes.
and then only in like one spot. So
Mhm.
then how do you like get that to like blend with it if it's growing that way? Do you just leave it alone?
No, you just change your direction.
Oh, okay.
So that I know exactly what you're talking about.
Leave it
Yeah.
alone.
No, yeah. What you do is when it's going like that, you still like I'm going to go into this next zone.
Yeah.
I'm going to still use the same guard, but now knowing that the hair goes this direction, I'm not going to go from the hairline up. I'm going to have to now go this direction.
Okay.
Because when you're blending, I'm glad you brought this up. Whenever we're even when I'm framing right now, what I'm doing right now, we're going against the grain.
Yeah.
So as you're creating when you're blending, you have. I mean, you could blend with the grain. It's going to just take forever.
Right.
So you get through the cut faster going against it. So now you know that so the first thing you notice that hair is going in a direction. So then you got to go against
It's
it.
opposite.
Yeah.
Even like, cause like even when you comb it down, it still just wants to go.
Yeah.
where
And
it wants to go.
everyone's hair at the parietal ridge shifts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's going to turn on you regardless of any texture of hair. It's going to turn. Boom. This is where the hair is starting to do this number.
I think it's just more like not visible, but like
Mhm.
it doesn't lay the way you want it to
Mhm.
because of the texture.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Good question. So now at this point, I could go ahead and knock these two. Go ahead and blend these two zones together, but staying true to my way of doing it, I'm going to go ahead and jump up and skip guard. Right. So I'm gonna go to a 1.5. So that this was closed, open. So I'm gonna do 1.5. All right. Do 1.5 closed. All right. And then I'm gonna go ahead. No, I said I wanted the top, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm all over the place. Well, I'm gonna go to the top. I'm gonna do that. So I can follow your way. I like to follow your method.
Oh boy.
I can follow your method. So I'm gonna do a 3 with the grain. Go ahead and debulk it. Yeah, you could use the 2, but I'll use the 2.
No, that's something he's probably gonna want.
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of a consultation, right? So you can know what you're getting into, but 2 and 3 are pretty close.
I was about to say they switch it up halfway through the haircut
Yeah,
most
do
of
it
the
every
time,
time.
anyway.
Yeah, do it every time. Now, just to go ahead and show you my formula then, or my theory about going, let's do a 4 against it. So you can see a difference. So, just to show y'all what I was talking about. I'll do a 2 on this side, and then I'll do a 4.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Alright, so this is a 2 with it.
And at some point, not interrupting, can you turn him around and show them how you cut with the
Yes, I'm
cowlick?
glad you
please?
said, yeah, thank you. So, I'm going,
He's got a nice wave pattern.
yeah, you got a nice way of
He's got a
pattern.
really
Yeah,
nice
It's a
wave
good
pattern.
model.
Get a big
But
head.
now this is what.
No, that's not, he
but see,
will.
but-
Y'all
but
gotta
see,
be
if
careful now.
if you're not, but he's a great model,
Mm.
but he's also if you go in there wrong, you're in trouble back here.
Yeah,
Cause this cowlick is,
yeah.
goes different directions. You can really make a,
Yeah.
you could,
I can't see that far away.
If this gymnastics thing doesn't work out, you got a modeling career.
That's right.
Where do you work at?
LeVar, she's asking.
Where do you work at?
The tag gymnastics team
Oh, okay.
attraction. And it's like,
Nice. All right, so this is the 2 with it. Of course, a 2, anything with the grain is gonna always look a lot better than against the grain. 'Cause against the grain, you obviously know the guard is picking their hair up and cutting it, so it's gonna look choppy. But just to show you the comparison of the 2. So now I'm doing against it because again, remember I told you in the interior part, in our mind, we typically say we're going from crown to the front, sides down. So now I want to go against it. This is the 4. And you may say so, like, why would that really matter? Why would it matter if I know about just going against it? Well, because you may get some customers that may say, especially curly hair textures, they may say, man, don't go with the grain, don't go against the grain, you'll cut my waves out.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna cut the waves out if you know what you're doing. Only time you cut the waves out, you go below 1.5. You will cut some waves out because you're going beneath the arc of the curl of the hair. And, so yeah, right. All right, so you see it's not pretty much kind of the same, right? Somewhat.
You're right though, it does look choppy compared
It
to
looks,
the
you
other
see how it looks?
side.
You see how it looks choppy, right?
Yeah.
But then what you do to make it really pop and make this, and now I can then switch to my 2. Now, do I need to go through the whole color contrast of all that with the hair, dark color, light hair? Do I need, y'all remember that from school? Like,
In the
it's better-
sense of, and what?
it's better to use, like when you're doing dark hair, it's better to use a lighter comb.
Yes.
So you really see what you're doing and vice versa. The hair is light, use a darker comb.
So you went with the grain with the 2 and against
This
with
side,
the 4?
and then I'm gonna get to the 4, just do a comparison. When you stepped away, I was gonna show the comparison of the
Okay.
2. And so what I do is whenever I do a 4 like that, I still come back with a 2, just to kind of smooth it out.
Time-wise, do you find that just going straight with it at the 2 is quicker, or is it better to go
Depends on
forward?
the haircut and the client. Sometimes, but it's faster, but it's actually faster going against it.
Okay,
Ah.
wait,
So
so,
4 against and then 2 with, just the
Yeah.
polish.
Yeah. Yeah.
so you go with the shorter, like, with the grain?
I did it with the grain, 'cause that's what she normally does, but if it was me, I would've went a 4 and then a 2.
So you would have gone the 4 with the grain, or with the
The
grain
per-
and the 2 against?
No,
Or-
4 against it, the higher number against it, and then half the size with it.
That, okay,
Lower, yeah, half that size going with it.
As a polish.
okay, yeah,
To help
that's,
it
yeah.
as a polish, yeah.
Now why-
The other reason why I do that is because when you go against it, you are cutting the hair more evenly because you're now getting a chance of the comb,
To lift
detachable
the hair
comb,
up.
to actually pick the hair up evenly and boom.
okay,
Where versus when you're going with it, to your point, you just constantly boom, boom, boom. You just gotta go over and over and over again until you really get it like you want it. Versus if you just go ahead and boom, knock it down, then smooth it out.
Oh, okay.
That's how you save the time.
okay.
So, yeah. So, man,
Some people will panic though, that's why.
That's
Yeah,
why.
'cause it's
Yeah, that's
choppy.
why.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
so used to people chopping
Yeah.
them up, so that's
yeah,
why
Yeah, they traumatized.
I would rather just take a few extra passes.
Yeah, they traumatized.
So I'm
You
laying
know
it
your
down.
you know your clients,
Yeah.
but they traumatized. You got to educate them,
Yeah.
and then they got to trust you, and they realize that you got to do a little bit like I did, do one side, and then boom, they be like, "What's going on?" And realize, oh, everything. You spin them around, let them look in the mirror, let them know they all right. Your hair is still there. Even though I didn't take it off, I promise.
Now what, why would we need to lay it down, right, like polish it, lay it down on multi-textured hair like this as opposed to like, you know, Caucasian hair or?
I do it on all to hair texture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get rid of what,
I polish on everything. I freehand on straight
Yeah.
hair as well, just
Yeah.
to kind of get that polish and.
Yeah.
And I always still go with it, just to that little pop.
Alright, this next buzz cut I get better watch out.
That's what I'm talking about.
I still have no
Just,
idea.
just remember, when you're doing the buzz cut, always remember
Oh, God.
against width,
Yeah, she's
against
not
width.
saying
Half that size you went, so I'm going with this too real quick. Alright, bam. Alright. So I already saw his grain change back here.
This is your
So-
2?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the 2. So this is another area. I thought y'all gonna set me up. I was gonna start talking. Then I would have gone with this 4 first because it's a cowlick area, and if I don't quite, and I'm not familiar with cutting his hair on the regular, so I know generally where it's. I can see a little something, but I really can't tell where it's really going, right? So, and then instead of me coming in with the 2, I'm gonna come with the 4. So when I do the 4, as I'm lowering it, it's gonna open it up more so I can really see the direction the hair is going in. So then when I come with the 2, then I can smooth it out. So that's another reason why, because there's sometimes I got in trouble doing it with the grain, hit that cowlick area, boom.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Bald
the
spot.
illusion of going faster is going straight to it, and that might not actually be.
Your speed comes with repetition. That's it. Speed comes with repetition. And all that, as my show, you say, you just beat the man upside the head. You ain't doing nothing, just beat him upside the head. Right? It's all repetition. That's how you get faster, right? This haircut I would normally do with me, this haircut if I was in the shower would be about 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the 4.
I take it.
I
This is
just
the
can't
4.
see 'cause
I'm just
I'm
doing the 4, just see what it would do. See if it would be anywhere that I need to be cautious of, be aware of, if there's gonna be any problems. It look like there's no real area I gotta worry about, because I'm looking at this scene like, okay, I might be able to go in here, won't get in trouble. So then now I'm gonna go ahead and go back to my 2. And then just go ahead and just see what I got. Go ahead and take a.
I'm
You
looking.
wanna take a stab at it?
No.
Jason, come
You
on.
wanna
now.
try
Yeah,
it?
worst case
Go ahead,
scenario.
go ahead.
Hey, worst case scenario, I'll just be bald today.
I'm
He
not
wants to
balding.
do it too. It sounds like he wants.
Look, I'm
I don't know why
Hey,
you
you
know
have
What
to
do
learn.
you see? What do you see?
You have to learn.
I'm gonna follow where you
Yeah.
go. Which way I should go?
I don't know.
Come on, it's
Don't
interactive.
panic.
It's
You
interactive.
know
Which way I should
the
go? I'm gonna go your direction. You can build your. I'm gonna go your way. Which way I should go? You tell me where I need to go.
That goes that way.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm
Huh?
terrified.
What's up?
What if
What's
I
up?
mess him up?
I'm gonna do it. So I'll
He's
do
the
it.
one
You tell me.
talking.
I'll do it. You tell me where I need to go. Now, if it ain't the right, I'm gonna say nah. That ain't
Yeah.
to try again.
That way it goes like that.
Let's try that way. Yeah.
See, you got it right, man.
So his hair is doing the classic.
Yeah, that guy. Right
So
up
then
in
right
there.
here, this is where I would stay away from that. See how
Yeah.
I was moving around?
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone. I could freehand that. That'll be that 1 and 0 I was telling y'all about. You kind of freehand that down. So and product. We didn't even talk about product.
Yeah.
That's your final polish, right?
So did they
Gotcha.
teach you in barber school? Like, I mean, obviously you go on social media and see all these barber pages doing the enhancements. Did you go to barber school?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that enhancements. I can show you
I
a
wanna
couple
do that.
little tricks though, but enhancement that would be another
I
class.
wanna do
though.
Yeah.
Enhancement,
That is such a cheating method,
so yeah,
though.
I'm trying to make sure because I'm recording too, so I gotta make sure I say this right.
Oh, crap.
But
You better not show this to
This is for
anyone.
me. This is for me. I'm good. You fine. So and I can say this anyway. You know, my students know how I feel about it. Enhancements. This is the best way I can put it. Enhancements. The way I heard somebody put it, and I agree with. Enhancement is exactly what it is. It is to enhance the haircut. It's not a replacement. And that's the problem that's happening. A lot of barbers are using enhancements to replace, taking time to really make a nice edge up, make a nice line. They're coloring over it, and they're not
cheating
really
their way
making.
through
They're
it.
just cheating. What's going to happen is that person going to go home and wash their face, and the hairline is gone,
Yeah.
or it'll be gone in a
Yeah.
week or
Yeah.
2 weeks. There's enhancements have gotten better. Now we got to start getting into talking about fibers or coloring and all that stuff
Yeah.
like that. So obviously, if you're using what you see probably a lot on YouTube, there's going to be a lot of fibers, a little bit of airbrushing going on, but a lot of fibers. But fibers are only going to last to the next wash. Some of them got a little bit better. It can get wet. They could sweat a little bit for about 2 days. But you want it. My whole thing with enhancements, I only do it by if a customer requests it. But again, I want my line sharp so that when that does fade, you still got a good haircut. Funny story, I had a customer that still comes from all the way from Charlotte because he said he got a haircut. He said right in the middle of the haircut, the barber just said, "Oh, I don't like that," and erased his whole forehead and started all over again. He was like, "I'll just drive to Raleigh." He said, "Until you come to Charlotte, it'll make no sense. He's just gonna erase my whole hairline, erase his whole hairline, and start all over again, the paint on the hairline." like, so just
Yeah.
practice your skills. It is an enhancement, not a replacement. So that's kind of where I stand at with that. I'm not a fan of it right now because a lot of barbers are abusing it. Are you right? They're cheating, right? They're cheating, and not only they're using hair dye, they also using makeup.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they use
I've
a
been
lot. They
seeing
use a lot.
that.
They use a lot of mascara around the hairline.
That and
Oh.
the pencil.
That makes-
too,
that makes-
Yeah, the
doing
if
the
we do- if I'm
highlights.
doing
Yeah, I
it
had
Make it look
somebody do that
sharp,
to me
is
one
that
time.
the whole
I
purpose?
never
Yeah,
done
it's
it.
enhancing
Oh,
the
you
hair.
did?
A lot of people like
Yeah, I
that
was like,
box
nah,
and
don't do
flat
that.
he's got.
Oh,
So they'll enhance the hairline.
That's
So
how
you
they
gotta
make
keep
it
it up. Sharp.
Yeah, I know, right? It's not a makeup class.
Now, if I'm doing a photo shoot, I'm doing it for a movie set, or doing for a show or a play. It's a place for it. I'm not against it. It's just a time and place for everything.
You know Carlos, Let's Cut It.
Los Cut It, Carlos. Yeah,
He used to work for Bayless, but he works for Level now.
I know Carlos.
He's-
Los
he's-
Cut It. Mm-hmm.
He's probably really good for y'all to look at to see that you see his cut
Yeah,
before
yeah.
he adds the enhancements,
Yeah.
and then so you could see how to use it as a tool. But
And
he's insane. He's been.
And I hope that after the day, and as y'all still continue cutting your journey and cutting that, as I tell my students, as you're watching those videos, you gotta remember there's a thing in there, and I'm guilty of doing this because I've made some videos, but this thing called editing that happens. Some things get cut out, so that hopefully that now when you're watching it, it kind of makes some more sense when you're really paying attention to how they're feathering, how they're going around their system, right? Because it can be a little overwhelming. It can be very overwhelming. Not a little. It could be very overwhelming. All right, so just speed things up here. So we did the 2. So we already came up with his desired length on top, which is the 2. I'll worry about fine tuning and polishing it when I get into my actually detailing, but right now I'm still framing. So I just did what I do down here. Just checking with y'all what I did down here. Skin with what?
Close.
Clipper close.
And
What's the
then
next
open.
on?
Open.
Open. Then I did on top
2, or you did
2.
4 against, then 2
with it.
with.
Okay. So then now I notice there's 2 on top with it,
And both those
or
are
4
closed.
against it. So then I just did all the way open. So that means I'm gonna go to 1.5. That's why I stopped there, right?
Yes.
1.5. It's 1.5. Now, 1.5. And when I'm going to this third zone, we are approaching the parietal ridge, correct?
Yes.
What happens at the parietal ridge? Our
The
head
hair
does what?
shifts.
Our head shape does what?
Curves.
Curves. So what we want to do is we want to take advantage of this curve. So now instead of scooping, we're going to do a vertical line. So instead of scooping out, unless I'm doing an undercut, like you may see some kids with the dreads, or if you see a traditional undercut, you're gonna scoop out to be able to build the weight there to be able to help. You know how they say short hair pushes up long, right? So you scoop out underneath here, that'll be able to give you your undercut. But because we're blending, we wanted to blend to the top here, we're gonna do a vertical line, meaning we're gonna go straight up.
Oh, okay.
And I do also a little something I call a diagonal forward, depending on how high I go up, I go slightly forward. So that's why I'm doing it from this angle so y'all can see as I'm going more up, bam, bam, bam. So now we're taking advantage of that shape, and it blends it for us.
Yeah.
Right? Understanding our shape, because we're coming up on this guy, just like this right here, just coming straight up. Our graduation is right in there.
Okay.
Because the hair is naturally further away from your clipper anyway.
Right? And then sometimes I have to, depending on how thick their hair is or how low it is, I find myself sometimes doing what I kind of call a diagonal forward, right?
That's what I do with my flat tops. Yeah.
Man, you on it.
So
Think of a flat top, because they also say that, with men hair, not to cut you off, men hair, of course, most men cuts is flattering is more of a square form. So that's what we really do.
So if you had someone who wanted his sides done but wanted to leave the top alone, would you go in and do that scoop?
Then I would scoop out, bang.
Okay.
That's it. Just leaving that weight up there.
Yeah.
A lot of times these haircuts today, a lot of young kids today, my son is one of them I can't stand. Can't
They
stand
want the length
But
on top.
the haircut is so much. I almost feel like I'm cheating. I mean, even temper tapers is just like,
Yeah.
oh, leave the weight in there. Okay.
All right, bye.
All right. You still paying me full price. All right. So we're going straight up. All right.
How much do you
And-
charge for a haircut?
30,
Okay.
start at 30,
For everything or just?
just to cut. Now, you talking about the shampoo and everything, that's gonna be 60.
Oh no, I mean like any kind of haircut, like
Oh,
whether
any
it's-
kind, any kind of fade, yeah, the hair, the longer the hair, I charge more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, longer hair, I charge more. So if you go to my website, it's gonna say 60, cause I had to kinda like, cause I'm primarily at the school, and I wanna really cut in part-time. So I kinda like, just to kinda deter people.
Yeah.
But the thing was, all I did was made it worse for myself. People actually called, they actually still making appointments. So I'm like, nah, I might need to go ahead and bring some, I might get some new customers. I'm thinking about it, like, oh Lord,
$60.
$60, y'all wouldn't have paid up. But I'm downtown too, so,
There you go.
downtown Raleigh, so
They'll pay anything.
they'll pay it. All right.
Yeah. I used to pay 50 out in Greensboro. I had this Dominican guy. That boy could
Hey.
cut.
Hey,
He used to blend the heck out of his face.
Yes.
Had me looking like new money.
that's all right, y'all
That's
gonna
what
do the
it
same
is. He likes
thing.
to go to the Dominican.
Yeah, there's some in the water.
I'm telling
Y'all gonna
you.
do the same thing. Y'all see that, right? Going straight up. So now, this is already done, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's why I said I don't really, like I said, I don't really try to worry about blending yet, because I know it's gonna all come together. But the top is already pretty much done, and then now we gotta do now is just blend everything else beneath it.
Do the one.
So what?
Do the one.
Do the one. Now, quick, those are a little challenge. I did. This is the 1.5 going straight up, right? What do you think I need to do to go with it to smooth it out?
A 3.
Three going down.
Yeah.
Wait, no, up. Wait.
So now you got,
So I'm
Wait.
going against it. What you think I need to
A
do
half.
to go?
Wait, my math is
It's
off.
a trick question.
I don't know.
It's a trick question. This is where things get real tricky.
Half of that.
Don't touch it.
You do half of that.
I just can't think of the number for whatever
So
reason.
this is what I do.
Point
So
zero five?
that's technically, yeah.
It's a half, right?
Technically,
One open?
Good
Oh,
job.
one open.
Oh.
There you go. But it's a
Math,
little
I
less
can't.
than the 1.5. And I will tell you that when you start getting into 1.5 and below, you will find that you can also go with and against with that same level guard or limp. Right?
Oh god.
So I'm doing a 1.5, and I'm
that's-
just gonna or the one
he's
open,
talking
excuse
about
me,
me when I showed you the
with the
plug down.
grain to smooth it out.
And I just turned quick, put that on. Same
Oh.
guard. Same thing.
Now my pressure, nobody didn't ask me what my pressure is.
You look
My
like you're
pressure
pushing.
is like a 3.
Okay.
I'm not doing 5. I'm not going right onto the sky, right? Because if I go in there, I'm gonna go cut it too low.
It's like 5 or nothing for me. I gotta get my life together.
But you're going with the grain, so
Going-
you kinda have to press down a little bit
A
more.
little bit. That's why I said like a 3
Yeah.
for me. It's a 3. It's a little
Yeah, 'cause you're
pressure
heavy-handed.
because I'm heavy-handed, right? So I'm going with the grain just to smooth out that zone. That's the zone connecting the interior to the exterior, right in that Prada Ridge area. Something else I like to do, since I did a 2 with the grain, I always like to go one level lower at the hairline to really help this open this area, smooth out for you. Okay? And so it's like you almost like tapering from the hairline into the haircut. So since I know I did a 1.5 here, I did a 2, excuse me, I'm gonna do a 1.5. Since I already had a 1 open, which is similar to 1.5, right? I'm just gonna come right here and go right over the hairline. So now that's gonna save me some work. Now I'm still may come back with my shears if I want to kind of clean it up, but that just right there kind of round that off some a little bit, kind of debulking that weight, so that'll be easier for me to find that hairline later. Because if you had the hair hanging over like that, you want to create a shadow. You may think you see a line there that's not there. But I'm just gonna just right at the hairline, just like that.
Or sometimes people's, just the front of their hair is super thick. It makes them look like they're wearing a hat when you line them
Right.
up.
Now, of course, if somebody was thinning like myself, what you do is you avoid the light spots. You just won't cut it. Because once you cut into a light spot, it's gonna
It's
get
gone.
closer.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime any corners are thinning, you just kind of like cut around it. Just dodge it. Just dodge it. And if you want, and if it gets a little long on you, that's when you get the freehand.
Leave it alone.
Yeah. Or use your shears. Right? Your shears are the other good friend as well, just to get that area. Right. So then now I'm just smoothing down. Right. And then I like to make sure I keep the hair off the client's face as much as possible. So then now we're gonna go ahead and turn it on up here. We got this, now we gotta tie in our 1.5, what we did, excuse me, our 1 all the way open. We did a 1.5, so that means in between the two, we're gonna use a 1 closed, right? And I'm gonna use that. Since I'm dropping below the parietal ridge now, I can go back to scooping. Take this all the way around, so y'all can see it.
Yeah, it made a huge difference.
You make it look so flippin' easy.
I know.
It is, it's too easy, y'all got this. It's
No.
too easy. I'm telling you, it's too easy, it's all about confidence. Oh, matter of fact, come here, this is where the hair actually did turn. The hair did turn.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Ah!
Okay, but on the other side, so
Okay,
turn him around. So from where I'm sitting, that spot right there looks dark, just
Yep.
because
Yeah.
there's a divot there.
yeah.
You just leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
That's it.
These are shadows.
Cause it is what it is.
No.
Don't touch it.
That's what Eric was
Now, you
saying
could-
yesterday.
you could
Don't
do-
fade
now,
into a
there's-
divot.
Yeah.
So there's little things you can do. We could do what I can do. I call point cutting, and you could drop it down a
Like
little
on the
closer.
corner.
Use the corner to kind of
Just
cut
break
into
up the thing.
it. Because when you're point cutting, that's the benefit of point cutting. And I'm glad you brought that up and you know about that. Is that what I always like to tell this to students? The point cutting is like, you see a line. The purpose of
breaks
being
it up.
prepared to breaking it up. So now, because people eyes see right to left, left to right. So if you go in there, and
Yeah, but if
Break it
you
up.
went in there with it, then it would make a light spot, right? Like it
But
would
if
just
you
be the
go in into-
opposite problem.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause it might not actually be hair, it could just be.
It's
the
just a
fact that
shadow.
It's a shadow in that moment. in
So
that
what I need is
location.
That's hair right
flashlight.
there though. But I mean,
Yeah.
it can be a shadow at times too.
Yeah.
That would confuse you. That you would think that it's hair, and then next you know you dig it in there, and then, next
And
you
then it's
put a hole
yeah.
Daggone it, Tyler, you pointing to that where you want to get on the picture. I'm
Alright.
not getting one of those.
So because this hair
I like it.
changes directions on me here, now I know that. So then now I'm gonna come this way.
And that's the one closed.
Yep. So now I just gotta just change my angle. Now I do have it like kind of at a 45 because I don't want to be flat. So I'm still got it angled so that I'm still keeping that tapering effect. Right. I'm just coming using that 3 or 4 teeth.
So it's not going above where that 1.5 went
Not in that,
on the
right in that
okay.
zone. I'm staying in my zone. Staying in my lane. Right? Like that. Stay in my lane. I gotta do
I don't know.
that. Stay in my lane.
I don't know how to do that.
Right? So again,
Relatable.
see some people right now, some of y'all may be like, oh my God, I see all these lines in there. Don't worry, it's gonna go. Right? And again, it will be, I'm a lot slower now because I'm, trying to teach, but it's a lot faster. All right, so we're going up, we're going back and do my second pass. Speed things up for y'all. Am I boring y'all? All right, this is good?
Oh, this is good.
No.
This is good? Cool.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So my timer went off. I know an hour already flew by, so I'm going to make
Do you
sure.
find that with curlier hair, making multiple passes is the better tack? I mean,
Well, I believe that for all textures of hair, honestly.
Yeah, really.
Kinda have
That's
to.
just so that you're balanced,
So, yeah.
that you're balanced on both sides. So that's why I like to, when I go around, it's like I always say, so just go back to where you started. So you at least got 1 pass, and then you got 2 passes. As I do, now, some of you, now you got me thinking about some of that. Now, I will say that as I start getting higher and the hair gets thicker and it gets longer, I do find myself doing maybe 3 times sometimes just to really make sure I got it, right? Make it smooth. But I know what I could go to smooth it out is going to be doing what? With
Half
the
of
grain.
that.
Half of that. There you go. You on it. Too
My
easy.
math skills, not so much.
All right, so he's a great model because he do got the shadows in here. This to be right now in my mind, if I'm cutting it, I'm like, all right, I'm already observing areas that I know I'm gonna have to wind up doing some point cutting at. At this point, I already kind of know what I'm gonna be having to deal with. Now, could I still get going back to this question with the hair being going back to this diagonal direction, right? Could I still blend the hair going across it? I can. It's just gonna just take forever.
Yeah.
Right? It's gonna just take longer. So I could still just boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna be beating them upside the head at some point, or I'm gonna get tired of doing it. I'm gonna leave it. I'm getting tired of this line. I'm just done with it.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. So I'm going against it. So his hair going like this, then down, over here. All right. So I'm running this up to the 1.5. And now I know, because I know this one is similar to a 1.5, I can run it all the way up into that 1.5 of what I want, because it's gonna blend right into that 1.5 close that I did earlier. Now remember that? All right, so then now dropping down. So I got those, got my zones up here, pretty much blended. So now I'm gonna close it up and go with the grain to smooth it out. Could have actually used the half guard. You just use the one. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't put y'all. See that? See, I'm just going just like this right here. Smooth it out. And to me, I don't know, to me, it just seems like it just makes it a little more smooth. Even though there's lines there, it still looks smooth, right?
Looks better than anyone I've ever done.
Yeah, same.
I'm pretty sure.
I've
you
done
can do
3
that.
in my career.
So like, look at here at this one, going with the grain, just smoothing it out. It just kind of softens it up a little bit, kind of give it, you know, the line there, it still kind of softens that area up for it, right? To me, when I see it, that just lets me know I can, easier to get to the weight that I need to find. And I smooth it out. And all this up here, don't worry, I'm gonna get that later for detail, I'm gonna freehand that. So then, what I do, closed. What else would I do? We did review, closed,
Open.
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 Hold on, you don't mind, hold on.
Sorry, I like to learn.
1.5.
I love to learn.
Hold on.
1 open, 1 closed.
Hold on, one
0.5.
closed. That's closed, open, 1.5,
Yep.
2 on top, came back with a 1 open, and then now we're gonna do what?
1.
We're gonna try 1, okay.
No, don't listen to
We're
me.
doing 1. All
I
right, here we
thought
go.
it was
We're
a
gonna
half
do a 1.
open.
I'm gonna do a 1.
No, don't mess them up. Don't listen to me.
Well,
So,
one's
because
not
the
gonna
one
do
is-
anything.
The one is actually
The part there.
above the all the way open, which I didn't talk to y'all about. When we talk about the anything below 1 guard, we reference Clippers close. I got this from William Stam on YouTube actually, and he references when the Clippers close is 0 cent. When it's halfway open, it's 50 cent. All the way open is 75 cent because they say money helps you kind of remember.
And then the
right?
1's $1.
And number 1 is $1. All right, so we did 75 cent here, so we're gonna go in there with $1 that you said to do, because it's in between 75 cent and $1.50.
That's true.
It's $1, right? See?
What about $1.25? Where's that gonna go in there?
You're not gonna get that with the Clippers you got.
So we're
I
gonna do
have
the 1
the-
like you said. We do the 1
Yeah, I have both of them.
because the 1 is actually correct. We do the 1, but I gotta remember I gotta go in the angle.
Look at you, my
Right.
girl.
They're just super heavy, so I don't like using them very often.
Yeah, they are.
They're super
Got,
heavy.
and the thing, the most important part to remember is to be careful when you go on diagonal, not to go into your other higher zones. That's usually where we get kind of jammed up at. Yeah, we're just slinging it, boom, 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 boom. But we gotta be, you gotta be calculated, or you gotta make sure that you're staying focused on keeping it in that area. Because it's easy, you got clippers in your hand, you just roll it. You ready to knock it out, right? So now, I got a couple little cheat codes. And that's called, I like switch clippers around sometimes. 'Cause some clippers work together very well. But I don't want to confuse y'all. I'll save it for another time. I don't wanna do that. Confuse y'all. All right, so this is the
Too
1.
much information for me at one time.
You see the 1 is doing better on this side, right? Because it's going, right? This look good on the other side as well. Right here. And of course, I'm kind of going against one of my rules. You always want to stand where you're blending, because when you're reaching, you're not really getting your full.
When you're trying to show though,
So,
it's different.
all right. So you said what?
I said when you're trying to show someone how to do it, you gotta move your body
gotta
in a
move.
way that
Yeah.
people can see you.
Exactly.
He's doing a way better job than the other guy did.
Oh,
'Cause I could not
100%.
see what he was doing. I was like all up in his face.
Right. Now, I didn't say anything. Y'all can always get up too as well. I tell y'all can always get up. So now this is the one staying in that zone. Taking that one to try to blend it, right? I'm not panicking. I still see a line there, obviously. Around here in the back, because of all of this greatness back here, we're gonna leave it as dark as possible. So I'm gonna keep it low, right? And not trying to expose that anymore. So I'm at the max on how low I can go with it anyway, right? Because if I go into any higher, now I'm lighting this up even more, and then we're gonna be in trouble. So I'm coming back around again.
It's almost like you're blending into the shadow, because
That's
you know
it.
the shadow's gonna be there. You know?
Yeah, I kind of call it, we have this fading down, fading up. I call it fading in between. Like I do fading down up, and then I go in between. Like I'm trying to go in there and tie it all together. If that makes sense. All right. So here we start to wrap things up here a little bit. So at least go into the detailing part. That's where the magic happens. So we're going in here. Now I still see a little, because he got another thing with curly hair, and as you start getting closer, you start seeing he got these wonderful waves in here. So then what happens, it may look like you're building some weight here. So then what you need to know what you use, what are we using here? 1.5, right? And remember the hair, and the reason why it looks that way because his hair goes diagonal. And sometimes just brushing somebody's hair makes a difference too, because we're pushing the hair up, right? And it got a line there. I can take my comb or brush.
It's gone.
So sometimes, and that's what I mean by sometimes we create problems for ourselves because we don't comb it enough. We may push it up and think it's a weight line. Then you know you're going higher, and all you had to do was simply just comb the
Clipper
hair away.
disturb
Call me
the
out
hair.
like that. All right, then.
I do it all the time.
I do it.
And then you may
All the
want to
time.
switch as you get lower from the longer hair to the shorter hair. Now you want to use your fine tooth side to really get in there and really help detail the hair. That even lighten it up even more, just combing the hair. All right. So, all right. But I know it was a 1.5 up there, so I'm gonna do a 1.5, and I'm gonna point cut using the corner with the one all the way open, and just kind of go in there and slice that weight out. Because you can point cut at any length. You could break a weight at any length. And then I'm gonna go with the grain to smooth it out. All right. All right, just kind of using that corner, going diagonal against it. All right, did I get it somewhat? I still got to smooth it out. But,
Yeah.
all right, cool. All right, so then now I'm gonna come drop down here. Like we said, that was closed. So they didn't quite did what I want. So then that means I could go to where I'm hard-headed at. I'm just hard-headed because I didn't come up with these things with half guards. I didn't come up with no half guards. I ain't come up with no 1.5 guard either. But this is really
But
they make it for a reason.
Right.
They make it for a reason. So come right in there with the half guard just to come hit that line. So I want y'all to see that I'm still scooping out just when I hit that line. Something else that happens that I see a lot is that we don't follow through the cut. Because these guards or detachable combs, they are pushing the hair, and sometimes in our mind we think that because the guard hit it, we think we cut it, but now your cutting blade is actually lower. So you actually gotta go through that zone or that area weight that you're trying to cut, and wait till you actually hear the hair or feel the hair cut. Right? Because sometimes we scoop out too soon to be safe. And so we do it for a good reason. All right, so we come in here. I know you're looking right now like this. They're cutting my customer hair.
On the bright side, now no one in here has an excuse to not be able to cut your hair.
So I'm doing the half guard, same thing, getting that.
I do.
I'm using the half guard to get that weight out that I put in with it all the way open at 75. Right? I'm doing that. All right. So again, I'm not even detailing yet. This is still in my framing, but it pretty much got some of my blend out, right? The other thing gonna happen that you need to do that I did not do was you need to brush the hair. That makes a difference all by itself, because now it gets all that hair that's stuck to the scalp. That looks a whole lot different just brushing it, right?
Yeah, it does.
Right? So I do that on purpose. I do a lot of times with the comb, then I wait till as I'm ready to get into my blending part, and I brush it, see what I'm working with, see where my weight lines are that I need to get.
It's kinda like that Russell approach, like you style the hair the way you want it to be, and so you can see how far away you are from done. Does that make sense? Like, the client's gonna brush their hair anyway,
Yeah.
so that's what it's gonna look like when they leave.
When they leave.
Do they get the next day?
So say it again. They said what now? They do what now?
Well, I was talking to Lila about this, we watched some of their Russell videos, they'll do a lot of, they'll cut and then style, and they'll actually kinda get it to where they're gonna look like at the end of the cut, and they see, okay, I'm 2 steps off, or I need to do this or that. So it's like, we often cut hair and then we style it in and we're done. But if you kind of try to style in the middle a little bit, you can see, all right, oh, I need to touch this up. Or
See
this
where
is
you
the
go. Yeah,
polish.
it opens up. It does. It kind of opens up where you kind of see. That's another reason why I framed it too a little bit, because it kind of helps me see what's going on. Because you got to kind of like frame it to see your weight sometimes. So here now, I'm going. Saying I'm gonna come back over with that half guard. Again, just kind of going underneath that, above that 75 or all the way open. Take that all the way around. My pressure is like a 2. Drop that down. Drop that guy down.
Drop it.
I drop that guy down.
Graduation.
Drop below.
To my eye, I can't even see the different
Alright.
lines. Oh, you can still see there's some.
So then, I'm on.
Looks
So
good
this
from
was
front.
closed.
I can
So this was
straight
closed.
look at it,
So that means since it was closed, that means I need halfway open.
Yeah, I can't see it
Simple math, right?
from my eyes.
I was about to say, you need to get closer then, Toby.
Yeah, I'm just, he's, yeah, you're training to see that, I'm not trained to see that.
So right there, hitting that line at the
I never
bottom.
thought of it that way.
I'm just hitting that bottom line. All right in that zone, going right into, if you can imagine going in between the zones. That's what the dotted line, when I'm blending, I'm going in between
Oh,
those
okay.
zones, right? Not to travel it now. I don't wanna wind up too close to my other zone that I made, right? But just like right in between or slightly above the previous zone. Right? That's the best drawing. Could have drew that a little bit better.
It's okay.
It's okay.
We'll forgive
It's
you.
okay. It's good.
I'm sorry about that.
At least it's not a stick figure.
I got those for you too, though. So I go underneath here. Sometimes, and see, I have to do this because I'm tall. I have to drop down because I see a lot of shadows at times.
I know what that's
'Cause
like.
when I
Yeah,
come
tell
in
me
down
about
this
it.
way. So I have to. Or you got your mirror. I'm very bad at not checking
That's
the
my
mirror.
best friend.
But your mirror is your best friend.
Yep.
That
I
is
just
my
gotta.
best
I have a
friend.
system though, and so I'm so heavy on my system now. I've been doing it so long that, but I always had to tell students, please make sure you check in the mirror. I'm not. Do as I say, not as I do. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the haircut too, it looks completely different when you're standing right up on someone than it does, like, most people, like, interacting with him are gonna be, like, how far I am away, or if not, maybe a little bit closer, but they're not gonna be right up on him like that.
Well, from right here, the fade looks freaking fantastic.
Right, that's what
and he
I'm
ain't done
saying.
yet, so.
I
So
was-
if you look on here, boom, this is what's gonna throw everybody off. You seen the head shape, you see the lines, it look like it's doing the McDonald's symbol.
You're really giving him some confidence.
You know, he's confident. I know he ain't worried about that.
No, you
You
gotta
worry about
humble
that?
him a little bit, man.
He's fine.
He's a coach. He know what time it is.
Oh, kids are mean.
Yeah.
They're so mean.
No, the kids
So,
are-
so the way you would solve this here is you leave it alone.
So we let him
You
go
a-
around
you a
with the
point- you
McDonald's
could-
logo?
I'm a point cut in there. It's not your cut. It's the head shape.
No, that's the biggest lesson I learned going from
She said, "Let it
You
go."
can't even see it this
Yeah.
far away.
no, that's the biggest thing that I was taught going from like
It
barbershop
looks
to show
fine.
floor.
Mhm.
It's like a
Was-
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman's
Was
better.
Instagram is your best and your worst friend. Not everybody's
I got
hair
you,
is
pal. I made it a little bit better.
appreciate you.
Not everybody gonna have perfect hair, and not everybody got a perfect head shape.
Yes, and so that's the biggest lesson I learned for sure was that like not everything's gonna look like it should go on Instagram.
No,
Yeah, not everybody's head is shaped properly when they were
Yeah.
kids.
And look, when
And so
Mary-
that's
Grown a couple times.
that's why I said going back earlier that like you gotta find the art of knowing when to let it go.
yeah,
We don't know how to let. Sometimes that was my biggest.
That's me.
That was one of my faults when I first started. My fade would start here or in my mind, but I'm trying to get it so perfect it end up there.
Same.
Amanda really needed to be here for this
Yeah,
class.
she did. Yeah, she did.
From that statement alone, let it go.
Yeah.
She was gonna be
It's,
here.
Y'all gotta chill
because we
with
want to
that.
do our best. Because we want to do our best job. We want.
I've been working with her very heavily on that.
Yeah,
She
we
is-
want to
she's
put
getting
our
a lot
best
more
foot forward.
confident.
We want a quality. We want to give them quality work, so it comes from a good place.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It just gotta just know. We just gotta just like, all right. What I had to do was learn how to say, I'm gonna get you next time.
Yeah,
Because one thing that I do stand on, you probably already, y'all know this from y'all customers, that the haircuts get better because it's easier to come behind your own self than it is somebody else.
yes.
But nine times,
Set.
nine times you're gonna be cutting pretty much the same way, so your cuts get better. So that's why I always tell customers, it gets better the more I cut you because I'm more familiar with cowlicks and what your hair gonna do.
Yeah.
And it's only when I do walk-ins or something like this, I love doing moments like this because it's a challenge.
Yes.
A lot of my customers been in for 15, 20 plus years. Like, y'all wanna try something else?
Yeah.
It does, man. Same haircut. But all right. So I'm gonna finish up. I'm sorry.
You want some more water or anything? You good? Okay.
I was about to. I'm just kidding.
All right, we get this hair off of here. I'm gonna be boring y'all here. So we're on the bottom zone, right? So now we're gonna go ahead and start detailing it. All right, I'm gonna detail it. So I see some stuff. What do y'all see? 'Cause I know what I see. What do y'all see? I see quite a bit.
Well, I mean the edge up, obviously.
The edge up, definitely.
But that's the last thing I do, and then, I mean, some of his natural shadows, but I wouldn't touch those.
Right.
Wouldn't even touch them. His right side is the problem child.
It's right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see the back again.
The back, I had to leave that intentionally. I had to leave it.
Look
Had to
down
leave it.
just a little bit.
But see,
Right
there you go.
But look, he-
Yeah.
but
That
look
was-
though, if he looks straight ahead, it looks like his natural curvature. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't look not blended to me because I'm used to the curvature of the back of his head. That doesn't look bad. Nobody else
Right.
is gonna look at that
Right.
and think that looks
No,
bad.
it doesn't look bad at all.
And it's
I'm just a jerk.
and there is no such thing as a perfect haircut.
Mm,
But we in the job to try to give the illusion that it's perfect.
yeah.
But it's always any haircut. I don't care even the one you put mascara on it. I could find something wrong with it.
Yeah.
There's gonna be something in there, right? But
But his is his two corners.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is fun right here though. Now, the only solution you have for this is either, you would tell them like, hey,
Shave it off.
leave it long, covering all that up, do a temper taper,
Mm-hmm.
let all this be full if you don't want to see any
Yeah.
shape or form. So you just do a neck taper back here, temper tapers on the side, and then let all that be full. That's the only way you're going to be able to cover that up.
Or you could be bald.
You said you
Well,
had an
if you
afro?
bald, you're going to see it.
LeVar,
it's
walk
hard to
into
see.
this barbershop bald, I promise.
Okay.
Walk into this.
No, you're not going bald. So that's what this is also now when I'm going to start doing the Xing. Right, just to kind of go different directions. Right, so now I'm going to this is the fun part for me is the detailing. Because then now the catch is with detailing though, you got to be careful, is to remember what you use in a particular zone. That's where mistakes happen, is that what I do down in zone 1 or down here, I can't be bringing up there. And then God bless them, the students, they'll try to use something way up there, they try to come down here like, it's too short, man, it's too short. But you know what it is, it's all you on it. All right, come on, think about what you're doing here. Why would you do it too when you have Clipper closed that? But all right, I get it.
You're not hurting anything. You're not doing anything.
You're not doing it. They nervous too. Like, it's all right. It's okay. Trust me, it's a two. You know.
The detailing part's hard because you can't always see what you're
Mm-hmm.
where you're working.
Do you ever, like when when I'm detailing, especially.
right? So when I detail a point cut, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. That's gonna be my question, because like I know some people, I've done this in the past as well. Going back in as if I'm blending, that's not detailing, right? So you always almost wanna like corner, or as they would mostly know, pivot. Like that, you shouldn't be going in straight on into that blend at all when detailing.
No. So what she was saying that when you're detailing, you don't want to go straight on, meaning when I call straight on, make sure we're saying this right.
Yes.
It's using the whole blade.
Yes,
So
yeah,
you don't want to use the whole blade whenever you're detailing, because what's going to happen is you're going to create another line for yourself. So that's why you want to make sure you're point cutting to be able to, instead of going in with the whole
Yeah.
blade. And that was a mistake I made for a long
Yeah,
time,
that's what I'm
until I
saying too.
discovered like, oh, I just use the corner, I point cut in there. And honestly, really didn't really start, you were really getting into understanding point cutting with clippers until I started really using more on my shears more. And now I start doing point cutting. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I need to apply this to my clippers. But these are electrical.
cheers.
Shears. It's just that now we're doing a gradation, which is a short graduation. Same concept, it's just now we're just going a little closer.
And do you point cut with the lever open or closed?
So I'm point cutting based on what I used in that zone.
Okay.
So what I used here, I know in this area was, I didn't go any higher than 75 cent. So I shouldn't do anything except for 75 cent and down,
Okay.
right? And something else I like to do, because these are my fast fees here. These are not zero gapped, and so these are zero gap. So that means, zero gap, really quick, one thing about zero gapping is that when you zero gap your clippers, even though the box may say 000, now when your zero gap is now 40. So all your numbers drop. So that's good to know, because then when you got a clipper that's not zero gap, then you can have an easier transition between blades. That's the whole purpose of zero gapping.
Are those Oster's rotary? Or no?
This is rotary.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna come in here, and because I know it doesn't cut quite as close as this guy all the way open at 75, I'm gonna use this guy. This is gonna be similar to a 1, and I'm using this to smooth down in that zone that I had 75 cent and lower at, just to kind of smooth it down.
Almost like having a pre-built guard.
Basically,
It's already there.
yeah. And just kind of just smooth it down. This is one of my favorite clippers here.
No, it saves time to not like adjust or anything.
Right, could use Andy's on these. So Andy's and Oster can, their guards are interchangeable.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, they were made. Well, all three of them. As the story goes, all three, the big three. You know, now you got Babbitts and everybody else out here now, but the original ones, you know, Andy's, Oster, and Walls, and they all started out together. That's the story. And then what happened is, Andy's and Oster was taking too long, so Walls was ready to drop their electrical clippers, and so that's why they came out first. So they might have seen some advertisements of talking about the 1919s for the Walls, and they came out first, and they did. They released theirs first. So then Oster and Andy's got together, and then Oster felt Andy's was taking too long, so then they went on and released their clipper. But when they released it, all of their detachable blades, guards, are interchangeable to one another, because they were the last to work together, and their clippers are pretty much, at least the guards are pretty much the same, and detachable blades as well. So what I'm doing now, because this one is not zero gap, I got the half guard on this one as well, but I got it closed, and I'm just smoothing out, just trying to get some polishing going on. Just to
That
make
made
it
a huge difference from what you're like.
So you want to find your other clipper that you can have, like this is considered more of a magnetic, and these are considered more magnetic, but most coilers, matter of fact, take that back, all the coilers nowadays are all rotary pretty much, but you want to find you a clipper or have one that is not zero gapped, that you can use to do some additional polish, if that makes sense.
Do you mind explaining the rotary? I think we got distracted from it earlier.
Okay, so you have 3 types of rotary, really actually 4 nowadays, but the big 3 that you have are just what they call magnetic motor, So the magnetic motor, meaning that it is a very fast cutting clipper. An example of those would be like some of these guys here. It's really, see how it's really fast? Man, come on, really fast. Andes is another one that does really fast. The Wall Seniors is another one as well. Then you have what we call the two type of motor clippers. You got pivot and then rotary. So pivot is going to be more powerful, but it's going to be a little slower cutting, but it's more powerful, right? Then your rotary motor is going to be the one that's going to be detachable primarily, but now some of the cordless game now has kind of changed everything up. So some of the cordless use rotary as well. The difference between pivot and rotary is that pivot is going to be good for wet and dry hair. So if a customer's sweating, use product or you shampoo their hair, something like that, you can still cut their hair while it's still kind of damp, right? As for textures of hair, pretty much all the clippers can cut all textures of hair, but for curly hair, it is better to use a magnetic as well as a pivot motor clipper is good for curly texture hair. But you can really use all of them for anything. Straight hair, I primarily use rotary. I use motor clippers for straight hair.
You have to slow yourself down with the rotary after you come with the magnetic, because it cuts slower.
No, you gotta go slower with the magnetic
Oh,
because you could. That's one of the ones you can hit, and it's
done.
so when you get those, it's a oops, right? Because it's quicker cutting. And how it's made is basically the motor in it as well. The magnetic usually have a magnet on one end that moves it. So those ones it could get stuck in somebody's hair. You might hear like that means that's the. It might be on the side where the magnet is at that causes the sound, right? The pivot and rotary ones actually just got a rotary motor mechanism in it that actually chop through anything. So they'll cut through anything. These are our workhorses here.
Alright, so the Andis Master, because I used to get these mixed up. So the Masters, they're rotary, right?
They're magnetic. Their cordless one is rotary.
I was about to say, because when I got
cordless.
the cordless one, you've used those before, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, the
I love
cordless
those.
ones.
Yeah.
Man, like when I got those, I started taking bulk with them. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh,
So this.
this is like butter.
So this is what. So that's what I didn't bring it today, but
Mm-hmm.
but that's what I would. It would be either one of those, either this or my cordless master,
To take your bulk out.
just
Yeah.
to kind of smooth
Yeah.
things out. It's gonna give you a little closer than a one, but it just leaves it gives a nice little touch, nice little finish touch to it. All right. So, and I didn't even put a trim on there yet. I ain't do none of that. That's just off a clipper close. Right. All right, so just smoothing things out. This is all part of detailing. Then we're gonna wrap things up here with the edging, and I'll show you why I don't do the bald hard line, because I can skin it easier when it's already blended. So then now, if I want to get it skinned under here, just come trimmer, just scoop out, just do a large, scooping out the area that I want cleaned up. Making sure that I'm not creating a line for myself. Coming underneath that blend, right? Either way works. Now, I would tell you if I did put a line in there, and sometimes I do it just to, of course, for fun and challenge myself as well. But if you do it with a trimmer and make a line with a trimmer, I usually wind up point cut with a trimmer to take the line out, or the shaver. And then, like you were saying, that if I did use a trimmer, I'm kind of doing it in reverse by scooping out really low. But if I would have came in with a trimmer, like you were saying, I would have stopped about a little less than a half, or probably not even a half inch, but I'll stop right underneath it so that when I come with that trim, it'll blend right into that next zone, right? So, but I just find this easier, just kind of going around and just my preference, but. And I got it's like a 1 or 2 pressure, because now you let the trimmer do the work for you. Because if I was going in like a 4 or 5, I'm gonna make a hard line. So that's when I go back when I'm talking about the different pressure. So there you go, right there. I did not bring my shaver, but you got your shaver. I'll do the shaver if you want me to.
You want to use that?
I could use yours. I forgot to grab mine, I think. Yeah, got to grab my shaver. So that's how I do my bald blend, right? I didn't have to worry about putting a line in there because I don't feel like fighting no hard line. I didn't want y'all talking about me, so I didn't want to do a hard line. So then now,
I was about to say I'm itching for this lineup now.
line up.
Hey, right, that's the best
You
one.
got you know your blade, you got your, this is considered a T-blade. Right? T-blade is great for around the ears, going around corners. Perfect, thank you. Going around the ears, going around the corners. Right? Oh, you got the Baptist one. I know that's right. So, right here. Just still dropping underneath what I did with the trimmer. Same thing, not putting no hard line in, no hard line out. Just cleaning it up. Because a lot of our clippers today, especially when you get them zero gap, they're gonna get it pretty much close to where it's gonna be scanned, right? But again, no hard line in, no hard line out, right? So the ball fade is done. Too easy, right?
Yeah, that.
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
Too easy. Something else I like to do, and I really like to do it after I actually put a soft line in there, but I'll take the trimmer, go right up to the line. That helps to soften that line up, right? Come in, just right in line. You don't gotta go on. And the cool thing is I go right up to the hairline, it don't matter, it ain't gonna cut it. Cause it's only gonna cut from trimmer down. So you can go all the way up to the hairline. It's not gonna, like hit this little peak, it's not gonna take that off. Come right over there. Still there, right? So you just bring it all the way up to the line, get some of that little vellus hair all around there. You might even see some barbers that freehand with this too. You can do that as well, right? That's another thing you can do,
It's only gonna get the little tiny ones, right?
right? So it's only gonna cut. Yep. You can drop around their head, nothing won't happen. You wanna try? Let me try.
I mean, also from the science.
Since you wanna be bold so bad.
I know, right? All right, so then now what I do, can I borrow a blow dry?
Go for it.
She'll be fine.
To be sure, I'm gonna make sure I wrap it back up, right?
Yeah, she'll leave you a sticky note.
No problem. I like to use just like any haircut, you get some of that loose hair out.
Beautiful.
And I'm funny like that. I gotta take everything. I gotta blow everything off. You know, Drake.
It's crazy just how little hair is on the ground.
She gonna complain until I'm sorry. I tried. Until I'm sorry. I tried. All right. So before I get going on this front hairline, I'm gonna go ahead and take my shears here. I'm just gonna go across the front. Now, when I'm doing the shears, I'm gonna do it this angle so you can see. All I'm doing is I'm placing that steel blade underneath what I want to cut. I'm not going back. I'm not going forward. Just staying vertical. Boom. Just cut what comes over the blade. Right. Not much, because it shouldn't be much because I already shortened it when I told you I had dropped down the length, so I wouldn't have to worry about doing this part. But you can. You want to, just to make sure. Right here. I'm gonna let y'all go. This is the fun part here. So what we're gonna do, this is a T-blade. So this is our line. This is your straight line. Y'all already know about that, right? We use the bridge of the nose as our guide, right? Nothing changed. But what you wanna do is you wanna check the mirror, right? And then first you wanna do is you wanna identify what you consider the weaker side, meaning which side goes back further than the other. Now, I won't tell a customer that his hairline is weak, but I wouldn't say that, but what I'm saying is though, you're gonna look and see which side of you look like it's going back further than the other. Because you now, whichever one is the further back, that means the opposite side you're gonna push to make it match up. So you can't have the hair that's further back come forward. You can't unless you do some enhancements, right? So you're gonna decide on which side. You got a very healthy hairline, so you good.
Lord help me, y'all.
Good. He good. He actually got a great hairline. So I was noticing that
So
earlier.
strong.
So yeah, he got a strong hairline.
Bull.
I mean, if I had just so we could bring you down a notch, I mean, I guess the left side is a little light, but overall still a good line, right? Bam. Something else I didn't mention that y'all want to double check your fades as well as take a picture of it with your phone. Not something you're gonna post, just quick little snap. That'll find some. You'll see some spots.
Oh, yes. I feel
But
like
there's been some that I took pictures of, oh yeah, it's going on the gram.
And then you look back at it before you post it, you're like, no, it ain't.
That was not going, at least for not for this angle, it ain't going.
Nope.
I'm gonna use some filters for this one. Alright, so create my guide. I didn't ask them, I'm just only assuming because I saw it was already cut. But typically when they got widows, people always like to ask if they want to keep it or not.
Nah.
Most of the time that's the answer you get. But
There you go.
Ashley though, Ashley just cutting off that peak though. And I get y'all opinion, well, no, yeah, you're right, you're right. It is the left side.
That's always
That's
the
the left side. So what I was saying, if you look at the two, I took off the peak, so now you gotta see which side looks further back, I guess you would say, right? And this one's a little further back. So that means I need to push this one back to match it.
Do you have to?
Just
Or
to
you,
get
or,
on.
or you just leave it.
Yes.
I personally, I like to,
Leave it alone.
I leave it to the customer. And I ask
Hairline nigga like that.
I leave,
They'll
I
be like,
know-
take my good side.
I normally leave it to the customer, but most of the time I leave it alone. But if they want me to push it back, I will.
Do what you
What
gotta
do you want to do?
do. What you gotta do.
leave it alone.
All right, I will do a happy medium in there. All right, because when you're edging up somebody, unfortunately, just like when we talk about with hair coloring and any chemical services, you're gonna go back in the hairline a little bit. The catch is you don't want to go back to what we used to call the fresh meat.
You don't want
You
to
go
take it
ahead
back
and
to the
fresh- when-
90s.
You want to go back to the fresh meat or go back when it's a different tone? And that means you're too far back. If it looks light, you don't went back to the fresh meat, right? So, so that's what we all say. You don't want to go push back to the fresh meat though. Alright, but
No, that alone.
that's a
looks so
barber
much
term. I don't
cleaner.
know. There we go. Yeah. So I got my little guide here for the side here because the hair got a little lighter, so I didn't want to worry about pushing it back. Then sometimes I like to take the hair and over direct it, just like you would do with you had shit. Over direct it, bam. Cut it, and then comb it to how they style it. This is where I make sure I go to the mirror. But I'm gonna use y'all as my mirror right now.
Very nice. I think it looks gorgeous. 10 out of 10.
And this same step, actually, I mean, I know we're doing curly textured hair, but this same process you do with any textured hair. The catch is certain things of like combing it, and some of the things we talked about today, like make sure you really detangle it very well. You may have to find yourself going in multiple directions at times. But the process of the step, meaning the close, open, that will still apply. Alright. Now there's some other little tricks you can do if you want. So now at this point, you could even throw a razor on there to make the line a little more crispier. You could do that. You could do
Yeah,
Crispy is
boy.
the line up.
crispy. They say that's how they say it
Crispy.
barbershop. Crispy,
Yep.
super sharp line, crispy line. Got you know.
Extra crispy original.
Extra crispy. Another. Some of y'all may remember this from school, but you know your other way you create a line to make sure your line is straight. You take your comb, that's your ruler, right? So another thing I like to do to make it appear without using any mascara, I take some talcum powder. Right. I also like to do this as well because it helps protect the skin when you're edging them up.
Wait a minute. So I don't have to use a pencil?
No.
Use talcum powder. And the good thing about talcum powder is that what it will do is once I take my duster and dust it in, it's gonna make it look natural.
Oh, so you're just putting it on the trimmer.
Yeah,
It's just a highlight, cause you're not cutting anything new.
Neato.
Just to make it, cause the whole crispy line comes from the line looking ashy or dry. And the other way
you said
around
get
it,
ashy.
Not ashy, but you know, that's what they call it the ash
He's gonna
line.
jump on you.
Nah,
No,
they-
I'm
they-
just humbling.
Oh, you mess with it?
God,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not saying I'm all the time.
They call
Staring you
it,
down,
it's called,
Al.
so it's called Crispy Line, aka Ash Line, aka Super Sharp Crispy.
AKA tear that man
Tear
down.
that in. So what you could do is you use the powder the same way, but really all they really doing is mimicking if you just shampoo the person's hair and then you edge them up, that line will be extra sharp.
Okay.
Cause you wanna get rid of the oil and stuff. That's what the powder is doing too. That typically got oil on their skin. And that's what causes razor burns and cutting is that we're digging and digging, but you're digging because their skin is got oil on it. And then, so there's some things I've done. I used to do, I used to take alcohol wipes and wipe it off and not
Yeah.
with shampoo. You know, and I would do that when I'm actually framing, so that gives time for the skin to dry out, and then I go by and put a line on.
Like
So-
the astringent or
That's
whatever.
Or
what I was gonna
astringent.
say, that astringent.
I've been using it.
Yeah, it's good. That could be
I was
good.
about to say, you're gonna hate me because I'm gonna take all the alcohol wipes in the first aid kit.
No.
You can buy them by bulk, really inexpensive. They're not that expensive.
I've been
One,
using
one of your
this.
tips to
That's
take
all.
care of buying a box of about 100 of them. That's all, man. Just one tip.
Well, that astringent it's got some alcohol, but it's also gonna like condition the skin too.
It's like a toner I should read that.
thought that shit was witch hazel, it's not alcohol.
Something like that.
But it's still gonna dry.
The main objective, main objective is getting that oil off and
It's just resetting the skin.
I need to get some more.
so.
I have ones on my station.
This one's almost empty.
That one,
It's alcohol.
And then the other thing I like to do whenever I'm edging up, don't
yeah,
forget
that's
to
why.
clean off the forehead. I just take the trimmer and just run across the forehead, the whole entire forehead, get that vellus hair off on there. That sometimes that helps with making their hairline pop as well as just really clearing off their forehead. And I like my lines to be sharp, but I like it to look natural, right? There you go.
Oh, she
So let me just clean them up here.
Very nice.
Not bad. I'm gonna get some of that split ends off of them. We're freehanded and I'm done.
Now, before you go, hit him with the air compressor.
Right?
I was gonna say he was using the blow dryer. I was like,
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
use that.
Oh, yeah, we use that. Yeah, let me use that. Yeah. I don't use this. That. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Hey, that's fun right there. I don't even have the luxury right here. That's what I'm talking about.
Blow your clippers out. You're gonna love it.
That's my
Some
favorite.
Clippers too.
Yeah.
Clean your clippers out with.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, definitely get the hair in between the blades.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do a freehand here, like to start from the crown and the back, and just like anything else, like cutting grass, you just overlap yourself, right? So I'm gonna start on this side, come right from the back, and just take my time and just graze. That's that 0-1 pressure, no pressure. Another trick I didn't show y'all, I'm sorry, something else I could have showed y'all, but I'll do it real quick. Still got some time. There's another way you can make the line sharper if you wanted to, is y'all might have seen out there, is using holding spray.
Yeah.
And that helps hold the hair in place. You take the holding spray, just go across the front. Alright? You probably feel a little burn in there.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's got a good burn because it got the alcohol in there.
I'm
Right?
all for the burn.
Got
I know it's good.
spice ball.
Spice ball.
Yes.
That's my favorite one to watch on Instagram.
Yes, same. I love that guy.
Hit him with that spice
Yep.
ball.
God, hit him with the
Razor.
second one.
Hit him with the second one. Now he hates himself. Hit him with a third one just because he made a face.
So there we go, just going across,
So is there
taking my time.
is there a difference between the fade blade and the texture blade? Like the
Yes.
one with the little
Ju-
grooves? Is there like do you have a preference or what's for what? Like I
So
don't know.
no, so great question. So yeah, you have what they call pretty much you can do for all of them. Really, to be honest with you, you can use any of the fade. But the benefit of a fade blade is that it's going to come more like curved for you. So it's to assist you with your scooping.
Mhm.
Your texture blade is going to be just what we're saying, like point cutting and creating texture as well. But you can still scoop out with those as well. But
Okay.
it is a preference. Cause they got some other blades out there now. They got quite a few different versions out there.
They've got some weird looking ones where like one side it just has like 2 little teeth on it. I'm like, what the hell is this thing?
I
Stick-
could never
stick-
go to
stick
the
with you some
fade
fade blades
blade
would be
because
good.
I was so used to
The texture blade.
I just was. I mean, it almost blends itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never really got down with the fade blade at all.
Yeah, cause the texture blades is the way they're designed, and each brand got their own version. I know what I can only speak for like Walls with their fade
Oh,
blades.
theirs is.
They have like
top
they call theirs. It's like a scrunching blade, so that the teeth is like an S.
Mm-hmm.
So it's to help you with your blending when you're actually going to your blending part. It will make it actually helps you because it's creating texture. It's basically, if you think about it, it's helping you point cut at the same time
Yeah.
while you're cutting with the way the teeth are designed. So there you go. Let me just touch the line up. That's it. Any other questions? I might have ran over. I'm sorry. I started cutting. Talking.
We had good questions and good topics that we talked about. Very informative.
And then, and I like to go from right to left. Wherever I went from front to back, I just go right to left. And sometimes if I don't even use my clippers, my shears, I can just use my clipper, go across the front. You kind of hang over. Bam.
Looking good, my G.
That's okay.
Now we
Now,
got
now
that
you
weird
said-
sharp now. Come on.
I can't, I mean, you know. It's all natural, no enhancement.
Put that as the hashtag.
No enhancement.
All natural.
There's nothing wrong with enhancement. As long as it's not a replacement.
No enhancements needed.
No enhancement.
There you go.
Exactly, I like that. I could just convince my students. I got one right now. He colors up everything. I'm like, man,
Give him a coloring book.
he loves it. He loves it too. He loves it.
The enhancements get really fun in the show circuit though.
Yeah.
The 3D stuff, man.
Have you seen those?
That looks so good.
At the competitions and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
And there's don't get me wrong. There's ways you can do enhancements and look natural. It's not the problem with the enhancements. It's just they are abusing it. That's the
I
problem.
would get so self-conscious just from seeing every post on Instagram. They are like
I just about had a heart
crisp,
attack. I thought it was
perfect,
like came up
flawless
on
cuts, and I'm like, dang.
But that's not every day.
Yeah.
It's not
they-
every day.
yeah,
They're
it's-
gonna post their best cuts. They're not
Yeah.
gonna show you the 12 cuts in between that they did. That they have uneven head shape and.
That's
They're
why
gonna
I
show you
tried
they gonna show you the
best
best
cuts, too.
haircut.
The best head.
The best head model, and it's gonna be one that they done cut 1,001 times.
Well, not only that, but
Look
I've
bad,
seen a
Bubba.
lot of guys they're using blur effects in Photoshop now
Yep.
too.
Oh,
to
yep.
make it
Yep.
look-
That's something to do
Yeah.
with
Oh,
color,
yeah.
like
The
change
filter-
the
the
saturation.
filter-
I don't do any of
Yeah.
that.
Whew.
All right, I don't have a mirror.
There's
There's one right
a big block,
there.
yeah.
Right here, right here that says
Right
chops.
underneath it, yeah.
Or there's that one, yeah.
I got chops on it. There you go.
That line makes
Bam.
his jaws more square too.
Oh boy.
That looks real
Y'all don't
good.
know what y'all have done.
That'll work?
Yes,
That'll
sir.
get you by?
Well, that'll get me by.
Alright, at least get you
Now,
by.
now he's gonna be hitting on all the moms.
I'm doing what?
Now.
The gym moms are crazy. It's like dance moms.
I don't cross that line no more.
No
When
mo.
I was
No.
young, when I was a spring chicken. Yeah, I was about that life. I was like, ooh, unforbidden for real. Mine. But now I'm like, nah, it's my business.
Where are we going to this place? It's 10 minutes away. Is it Fuquay or?
Alright, that's all I just saw a little
I
spot
wonder
out
if it's the
of
same
that. I didn't
freaking
detail it
neighborhood,
inside.
that rich neighborhood. I go there first and circle by Friday today because she has some food. Oh, okay.
Alright,
Okay.
You got it.
I think that's it, my friend.
Thank you, brother, man.
Wait. Oh,
Just
well,
I was just gonna stick it in the little hole up there. Shut up.
he's developed that.
Alright, thank y'all. Was that help? Was that okay?
That was so good.
Y'all took something out of it?
I came with nothing and I'm leaving with something.
As long as something, a little something, just a little bit.
Something.
Alright.
I don't think I can put it to practice.
I think
I think you can.
I think you gotta believe in
can.
yourself.
I think you can.
Yeah.
I think
You had all
got
the right
Do
answers.
you,
You got
do you know Lauren Williams?
Yes, I do.
Oh, do you really?